Well, 401k investors face a lot of challenges besides choppy financial markets. We're going to talk about some solutions that ETF investors and 401k investors can use in the context of retirement planning. I'm Ron DeLegge with ETF Guide. Great to see you again. And we're pleased to have with us Greg Moerchen with QBOX. Greg, it's great to see you.
Hey, thanks, Ron. Appreciate you having me on.
So ETFK Retire is a product that we launched geared for 401k investors and savers, and it's a really unique solution. Just give us some background, Greg. What got you excited when we started talking about ETFK plans and the future of ETFs and the future for 401k investors? What got you excited about this?
So I've been in the industry almost 30 years, and once ETFs became available in qualified plans, probably 15 plus years ago, I've used those. And then, as you know, buffered ETF products came out about 5 or 6 years ago. And so I've successfully used those for individual clients and also in a few 401k plans. And you and I happen to be talking about this, I don't know, maybe a few months ago. And next thing you know, we have a product put out there where I think it solves a huge problem for plan participants. Everyone's always happy when the markets go up. It's just when markets go down or are volatile that you wonder if you're doing the right thing or not. And again, we can talk more about this, but this is where these buffer products can really help that person out.
Yeah, for sure. And that's sort of new to the ETF landscape. I mean, these products haven't really been around that long. Now, this is just one product within the bigger 401k menu that we offer at ETFK. What are some of the other investment choices, maybe some of the other investment providers and ETF firms that also alongside those buffer products are offered?
Yeah, Ron. So it's your typical 401k menu where we have a target date fund. So how that works is, the gas pedal will be to the floor if you have a long time to wait for retirement, and it gradually picks up and becomes more conservative for you. We also have the U.S. equity, large cap, mid cap, small cap, international bond products. So for a person that wants to create their own portfolio, we have those options available as well. So you can, create all equities or, 60% in fixed income and 40% in equity markets. And then we also have the, conservative, moderate, and aggressive options. So, and a person can use any combination of those that they want to, just based on what their circumstances are. And of course, you can always change, your allocation or, what investments you're using without any additional fees or costs.
Yeah, that's big. And then we also have some types of investment options that you typically might not see in a traditional 401k plan, things like exposure to commodities as well as global real estate. That's important too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And we do have those what are called sector products. And in particular, the commodity fund, it's a bit more efficient to have that in an ETF setting versus a mutual fund. And same thing with the buffer products that we're using to create the conservative, moderate, and aggressive allocations. They just work better in an ETF setting versus a mutual fund.
Yeah. Well, the ability to customize one's 401k retirement portfolio is important, and certainly ETFK does that. Now, what about the third-party administration? Because there's obviously some service work behind the scenes that needs to be done, and that's an important element that ETFK covers. Talk about that.
Within every 401k plan, you have what's called a record keeper, and that is RPG consultants that we're working with. Record keeper is simply the company that processes the contributions. It's where the participants log into their website to see what their balances are, update beneficiaries, update deferrals, that type of thing. And then also we have a third-party administrator, and that's also RPG consultants out of New York. Think of a third-party administrator as an umpire in a baseball game. There's a whole set of rules that every 401k plan has, and the third-party administrator makes sure that those rules are being followed.
Very important, and keeps the plan compliant by IRS rules, which is crucial. Now, would you say is the ETFK retirement plan really geared for? I mean, is this for startup plans, Is it for existing plans? Who would you say?
Really, all the above, Ron. It works well. The way the pricing is set up, that as the plan assets grow, the pricing comes down. It's on a tiered scale, so really it can fit a startup plan or a small company that likes to use ETFs for their personal investments, and now you can use the same products within a 401k setting. So really all the above. There's really no limit as to who may or may not use it.
Yeah, so if I'm a startup, in other words, I'm just starting a brand new 401k plan, maybe I have a small company with maybe, let's say, less than 10 employees. I go to ETFK.com, and then what happens?
We've actually made it really simple. There's a form that's set up there where you just answer some basic information. We'll then generate a proposal. And then we can follow up with you to, fine tune that proposal or fine tune whatever it is that you're looking for. Maybe you want to have your employees eligible to participate right away, or maybe you want to have a waiting period. All that, what are called plan provisions, all that can be customized based on what fits your employees' demographic and what it is you're trying to accomplish with it.
Now, what about retirement plans that are established? I've got a 401k plan. I may not like my third-party administrator, or I may not like my investment choices. Maybe I'm limited to mutual funds. I want to have ETFs. So how do they migrate over to ETFK Retire?
Same process. You want to start with a proposal. And what we would do at that point is, from a due diligence standpoint, we need to compare what you currently have versus what's available on ETFK Retire. We want to look at fees and also, make sure that we're comparing apples to apples with it. At that point, then, if you decide, yep, hey, you know what, I like this program, I want to have these ETF products, available to my employees, we'll then start the conversion process for you.
Generally, based on your experience, how long does that take? The conversion process. Is it a couple of weeks, a couple of months? How long does it usually take?
In reality, it takes about 6 months, Ron. There's a lot of paperwork and notices and disclosures that have to take place, but 6 months. Sometimes you can get it done a little bit quicker, but 6 months is a fair time frame.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add about ETFK before we close? We're going to be doing more episodes about this, but it's super exciting what we've talked about thus far.
Yeah, I think the big takeaway is that if you're currently using ETFs for your personal investments and you like how they work and the structure of them, these are now available in a qualified plan setting. So I think that's the takeaway right there.
100%. And ETFK offers that, and we're so glad that we could be bringing this to the public. And Greg, we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Ron.
I'm Ron DeLegge with ETF Guide. Be sure to go to ETFK.com to get your 401k jump started with an all ETF solution. We can work with startup plans as well as existing plans that maybe want to migrate over to an all ETF solution. So again, ETFK.com. Thanks for watching.